Okay, we can start once it's full now.
Okay. So how it's going to be? Is it like you're going to ask us questions and we're going to answer, or what's it going to be like?
Yeah. So it's going to be mostly conversational. I'll actually be asking the question, and then you guys will be sharing insights and experiences. But yeah, that's basically how it's going to work. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll be.
All right, I think we can get started. It's 4 p.m. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Inspire January by Startup South. Today, we will be discussing building tech-enabled businesses, or building a tech-enabled business, what to know before coming online. So basically, we're going to be sharing insights on how build your business, scale your business using technology. So that's going to make up the majority of the things that we are going to be discussing today on Inspire January, brought to you by Startup South. Today, or this evening, I have very, very experienced and amazing people in the building with me. I have Dabo Owen Etela. Dabo is a product consultant and co-founder of Customer Products. He is a certified Scrum Master and product owner with almost 2 decades hand-on experience building agile products and processes for organizations globally. Welcome, Dabo. I hope I got your name right.
Thanks.
I also have with me Noelum Awele Okunye. As Chief Operating Officer of LeadSpace and Passion Incubator, Noelle Mokole brings an unprecedented understanding and knowledge of global innovation, business operations, and establishing policies that promote the company's culture and vision. With over 7 years of experience in operations, management, design, and implementation of business strategies, plans, and procedures, Noelle is one of today's leading experts in corporate innovation, product development, and tech startup development. Welcome, Noelle.
Welcome, Noelle.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to be moderating to this session. My name, I am Ositadima Wango, and I am a product manager at Genesis Tech Hub. Genesis Tech Hub is a tech hub that operates out of Enugu. We are committed to building, people in technology, both people that want to develop careers in technology and people that also want to grow tech-based businesses. So let's dive right into the conversation so that I think we have only about 1 hour, so we'll try as much as possible to keep it at that. So I would like to ask, first of all, and this question goes to you, Dabo. What is a tech-enabled business? When you say business is tech-enabled, what does that mean?
Okay, so a tech-enabled business is, it could be any business. It could be an FMCG, it could be a logistics company, any business at all that uses IT or tech services to deliver to its end customers or to its users. So if an FMCG company uses a particular CRM, ERP, particular payment system, a particular infrastructure, a particular platform, it is a tech-enabled business. So just to get it clear, a tech-enabled business is different from a tech company. So from there, you get a grasp of, so basically nearly every business or company today has to be tech-enabled to survive. If not, you won't be able. You must use the Paystack and Flutterwave for your payments. You must use the Invoice NG for your invoices. You must use all these platforms, these tools, these services. So using those tools, those platforms, those services is what actually makes a business tech-enabled, not exactly the sector or the industry the business is.
Okay. So what about companies that intend to use like some sort of technology to maybe bring their business or to reach more customers or stuff like that? Wouldn't those count as tech-enabled businesses?
Yeah. So it's the same thing we're saying, that as long as a business is using, if a hair salon is using these technologies, is using these services, it is tech-enabled. The tech companies are the enablers of this service. So if you provide IT services, you build websites for a hairdresser, you're helping that hair salon become tech-enabled. So yeah, it just, as long as a business is using technology, it doesn't matter what sector, what industry the business is, and it's using those technologies to serve its end users, its customers, that business is tech-enabled. Of course, these days we talk about digital transformation, and that's like when you want to then scale it up to the next level of making things move faster and work more efficiently. But basically, using technology tools and platforms and all these services makes a business tech-enabled.
All right. Thank you very much, Dabo. Noelle, I think I'd like to ask you the next question. So, Noelle, what do you think are the important things to consider when using tech to scale your business? So, as a founder, someone wants to scale their business using tech. What are the things or the important things you think that they should consider?
Okay, great. I think Dabo had mentioned literally that businesses to an extent needs to leverage technology to scale, right? And so what are the things you need to probably consider before moving your business online? For entrepreneurs, for founders, basically, it's very important for you to understand your business model, right? It must be able to function very well offline, right? And then use technology as an enabler to scale, right? So probably before putting your business online, there are several components that are required, right? Understanding who your target audience are, where are they, right? What problem are you solving, right? What is the value proposition, right? Definitely, whatsoever idea you have, someone else also has that same idea. The only difference is how both of you are able to implement or execute, right? So then you then understand what is your strategic differentiation, what differentiates you from every other business, right? You then have to understand your competitors. And most importantly, the goal of every business is to have users or consumers of your product or service. So what's your acquisition strategy? What's way right? So what tools are you going to use to get to your customers, right? Then also monetization strategy. Yeah, I want to confirm you can hear me clearly.
No, we were losing you at some point.
Okay. Okay, so you need to understand your monetization strategy. What means are you going to use to make money, right? Daba had mentioned earlier that several payments channels you could use to get money from your customers. Do you want to leverage Paystack's platform, or do you want to leverage Flutterwave, or do you want to integrate APIs from different banks to give your clients a very great experience transacting with you, right? So these are very few of the requirements you need to consider before leveraging technology to scale your business.
Okay. That's very nice. So I'm thinking some of the things that you've mentioned around being able to even understand your strategy, even ensuring that your business functions well offline before. I mean, because it would go without question that if you're going to take something online, you have to have figured it out online first of all. So the next question I would like to ask would be for you and Dabo. So there are a lot of companies that okay, they want to take their business online, they want to build a tech product around their business. So what are your thoughts when it comes to either building an in-house tech team or outsourcing to an agency to develop? So what are your thoughts? What are the pros? What are the cons? What would you like other founders or the founders that have tuned in, what would you like them to know about both strategies when it comes to building your product?
Okay, so when it comes to building a product, yeah. So for one, yes, you can build in-house, but that's if you have the competence, you have the team to be able to build the products you want to throw into the market. The other option is probably for you to outsource, get a team that is going to build the product and probably get you to launch, and before launch and probably when you're launching, get your own team during that period. The third option could be if you're not a technical person and you can't get a technical, if you're not a technical person, get a technical co-founder. Because getting a technical co-founder is going to help you solve some of those the issues associated with cost. You don't want to come into and get what they call technical debt, because when you're not aware of what's going on in the product you're building, so some developers will probably want to just find shortcuts to achieving their own definition of done, and and much later in the future, you start finding out that you're having bugs and you're spending so much money trying to fix those bugs. So the best approach would have been to get a technical co-founder. Not that the technical co-founder would have to be coding, but it could oversee the product development. It could see what the developers are doing, monitor what they're up to. So it depends. If you have funding, if you have money, you can decide to hire a team. If you don't have all the resources, you can outsource, get a small team, build your product, and try and raise capital to get your own team. Then the third one, as I said, is getting a technical co-founder. You get a technical co-founder, you guys invest in getting a few people to work with, and maybe putting all of them as part of your team, giving them a stake in the business. That way, the vision is sold to everybody. Everybody has a stake in it, and so those are like the three ways. But if you're a big company, you can have your own in-house team. You can even outsource, but depending on which area you fall in, you just need to know. But the best approach for any young person or any person trying and get a technical co-founder, that would be the best approach to building your products. It doesn't matter if you're still going to outsource bits. It doesn't matter if you're going to get an in-house team, but get a technical co-founder.
All right. So even speaking further on technical co-founders, so I'm guessing a technical co-founder is somebody that has some sort of experience when it comes to technology itself, maybe product development and all that, and then also knowing that product development teams are usually cross-functional. Yeah. What competencies or what sorts of skill or what type of skill do you feel that a technical co-founder should have? So if someone is looking out to get a technical co-founder to come and work with them, in a bid to take their business online, what are the things that they should look out for when trying to get someone?
Well, in building a product, as you say, you need a cross-functional team. So, and this team, sometimes you need a product designer, you need a back-end engineer, you need a front-end engineer, you need a mobile app developer. Sometimes you probably need a business analyst, So you probably may not get a technical co-founder that does everything, but and that's why experience comes into play. A good technical person probably would have gone through 2 or 3 of these. You must have been a designer at one time. You might have been a back-end engineer. It's coming from there before you start looking into more of leadership or management roles. You might have been either a front-end engineer or a mobile app developer. It doesn't necessarily need to have all of this, but he has had the experience of working with a team that is cross-functional. So having that experience of working with a team that is cross-functional, he will be able to manage a team, and with his experience, a cross-functional team as well. So you might have a technical co-founder who was a back-end developer. You might have a technical co-founder who is a front-end engineer, a network administrator. It doesn't really matter, but you must have had experience working with cross-functional teams. You must have had experience working in those different areas in building a product. Because at the end of the day, as I said, you don't want to have technical debt, So in order to avoid that, you need to work with someone who might have worked in those roles or in a team that has those roles before.
All right. Moving over to Nayelum. So, Nayelum, do you think that technical co-founders are important? And then also, while answering that question, I would also like you to point out some of the experiences that you might have had, working with technical co-founders. What are your experiences with them? What are the pros? What are the cons, if you see any? And then, in general, just tell us whether you think technical co-founders are important, and then how important are they?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think for every product that you want to build, the first thing you need to know or to clearly communicate to all stakeholders involved, be it your teammates or your customers, is your vision, right? So what is that product you want to build, right? So as a CEO, you should literally have the vision in your head, right? And then a strategy. Then you come up with a design and then probably execution strategies. So if you have your vision, definitely the next step in terms of being able to build, right? It will make it very seamless. So irrespective of if you decide to have a technical co-founder or you decide to outsource the product development process, whosoever is coming on board should clearly know what you want to build. Founders have a very difficult time articulating what they want to build to the engineers, right? Which then make it very difficult for engineers most times. So the first step is literally to understand what you want to build, in terms of, you can actually just probably look at some other similar products, right? And then give the technical team an idea of what they're to build, right? So you're not going front and back several times on the same issue, right? So because that vision helps in understanding the product's backlog, right? Which then helps in the sprint design, which then helps in the iterations of the product, right? So these key components are very, very important. One also very critical aspect of building a product is user experience research, right? So how would your customers interact with the product? That needs to be clearly designed, because that is what is going to inform when the UI UX designer is designing the platform, or the front-end engineers designing the platform, or the back-end engineers, or even the product manager they are probably going to put to manage the product. They need to understand this process. So if a founder decides to get a technical co-founder, we first have to realize that running a startup or running a business is synonymous to marriage. And definitely as an individual, when you want to get married, you definitely have to get married to the right person. So when you're choosing a partner or a co-founder for your business, it has to be the right person. Someone that has the same vision with you, someone that aligns with your direction, someone who is understanding, someone who you can trust, someone who you can respect, and someone who thinks long term. Because building a tech-enabled business is not a short-term project. It's a long-term project. We're looking at 5 years, 10 years before some companies are able to attain an equilibrium or attain product market fit, right? So in as much as this is your expectations from your technical co-founder, this definitely would also be your technical co-founder's expectations from you. So whatsoever you want or you wish for, you literally have to be. So definitely there are platforms that help startups in their product development phase, i.e. There's a platform called Grouper.io. They help startups with the technical aspects of their business. And then getting a technical co-founder is a function of the relationships that you have, right? So that's why if you have an idea, don't keep it to yourself. Network with people, network with tech-savvy people. You could literally meet someone that can align with you and literally build your products for you at little to no cost. So you get advantage from your relationships. That's why you then need to leverage platforms like Startup South to meet a lot of people, collaborate, share your ideas, and then quickly birth your ideas. I think that's my thoughts on it.
All right. So heading right over to you, Dabo. So, what are the things you typically consider when deciding a tech stack? So, okay, for instance, I've been running a logistic business for say the better part of 5 years, and I want to maybe build some sort of logistic app that can help my customers send and deliver stuff, right? So, considering I want to build that kind of thing, what are the things that I would like to consider when choosing a stack, to build my product?
Okay, so It's usually, I would say, it's it's a user preference. You know, that user preference is also um, informed by the availability of talent too. So it's easy for one to say he wants to build the app using Node.js and JavaScript because Andela has thrown out into our system. We have just quite a number of Node.js and JavaScript developers. We have them, you know. But when you say you want to start building with Java or Ruby on Rails and C++, C Sharp, and all of these kinds of technologies, you know, you start finding out that it's hard for you to come across talent. And when you come across these talents now, it increases the cost of development because those talents are equally expensive. But if you consider what Oye said, you know, about your product vision, you know, and about the your understanding your customers, you want to just deliver something that would deliver that service to them. Do you want to say you want to the perfect app? Because at the end of the day, there's always, you continue to iterate, you continue to build, you continue to evolve, you bring out new updates and versions of your product. So it doesn't have to be perfect at first. So you use what's available, use the talent that is available. If you get a JavaScript and Node.js talent, you work with the person. If you know that you can afford to get a Ruby on Rails team, and yeah, no problem, use them. There's no preference. Where I only have a reservation these days is in PHP, and that's because of a lot of. Don't get me wrong, PHP is still very, very much good. It's still very, very much around. I'm sure that it will take like 10 or 20 years, at least 10 years before PHP is going to go anywhere. But of course, we can see that it is people are starting to use other kinds of stacks, other kinds of technology. But long and short, it's user preference and availability of talent. So I don't think that you need to start saying, oh, you must use this kind of stack, you want to use this kind of stack, that kind of stuff. If you're a hairdresser and you want a website for your business, I know some people say, oh, why using WordPress? Why not you build something on React and all of these kinds of things, you know? I don't think you should listen to them. Build your website in WordPress, deliver to your customers, install your Flutterwave and Paystack plugin on the website, and you're good, you know. But then when you want to scale, when you want to evolve, you can start thinking about using more efficient technologies.
Okay, so don't you also think there are technical or technology constraints to consider when choosing it? So, for instance, yeah, we could all say that you know, Node.js, JavaScript frameworks on the front end are very good, but then there are also people that will argue things like, okay, how well do these things work when you want to access maybe core services of maybe an iOS platform? Wouldn't you be better off using Swift and, you know, things like that? So don't you think that there are some technical constraints to consider?
Okay, so yes, I actually I agree with you in some bits. And so when you're talking about using iOS app and Swift, using Swift for build your iOS app, and we also have Flutter that builds cross-platform. We have what other platform does cross? We have React that does cross-platform. You know, but Apple just has a way of making certain kinds of standards that will make developers want to use their Swift to build, because it may just not allow your app into the store. It may give you some restrictions and all of that. But those technical considerations are not as important on the very first instance, as I said, as the availability of talent and as to what you can afford. Yeah, so there are some technologies that make sense. So if you are going to build something on the cloud, it's better you look for someone who is going to build what you want serverless, because it's going to save you costs along the way, rather than you building on a technology on the cloud that will be costing you like $100 or $200 or $1,000 every month. But so using something, serverless technologies can make that cost go really, really down. So in those kinds of contexts, yeah, you need to look for people who have those competencies, because at the end of the day, it will drive down cost for you. But if it's not going to drive down cost and you can't afford it, I think you need to work with the tech that is available, and when it's time to scale or evolve, you scale.
All right. For people in the audience, if you have questions that you'd like to ask the panelists or the speakers, you can quickly comment, and we'll have those questions passed across. Okay, so ask your questions, people, in the comments. So I'd like to ask Noelum another question. So, Noelum, how do you think what do you think the remuneration arrangement should be between founder and technical co-founder? So, you want to build this really amazing product, right? And you want to bring a technical co-founder on board to help you achieve your product vision. So what do you think the remuneration arrangement should be? What should be the benefits for the person? What sort of agreements should you guys come to? What is the best approach towards that?
Okay. I think also to add to the initial question on tech stack, I think also it's good to check your competitors, what they are using. Technologies are evolving by the day, right? So you need to then understand best practices. And I think you can leverage Wapalizer. You can use Wapalizer to understand the stack probably your competitors are using. So you know that you're operating using global best practices. So also in terms of remuneration for founders, tech co-founders, I've seen that this aspect of money has literally separated several founders, right? Not aligning. That's why it's very important when you are choosing a co-founder, you should choose someone who complements you and has the same vision with you, and ensure that both of you are aligned. So in terms of remuneration, I think financing has to be very transparent between founders, right? Whatsoever is coming into the account, how much is available for as salaries for the co-founding team, the team members, the frontline staffs. There should be transparency, 100% transparency, right? So a technical co-founder should know that whatsoever finances or money is coming to the organization is meant to be reinvested back into the business, right? So if that is clearly articulated, there will be a certain expectations on the amount that each of the team members is to earn. And then there should be a clear path to either profitability or increments in salaries. That's why before engagement with any technical co-founder or any product team, there should be a job description or an offer letter, literally just formalizing expectations in terms of KPIs, that is, I think, key performance indicators, or OKRs, right? The objective and key results. And you can actually even track or reward based on milestones achieved. That would make people more accountable and achieve their goals faster. But the bottom line is for expectations to be clearly stated out before any engagement. That would reduce the friction, and then will I say divorce of co-founders just because of money. It should be clearly stated what the remuneration is, and a clause depending on the income that comes into the organization. That's why before building any product, you should be clear of how the finances would work prior to when you're able to get investors or finance or funding to scale the business.
All right. So, what would you say about giving equity? What are there any thoughts around that? No, that's directed at you, Ifeoli.
Yeah. So in terms of equity, right? You need, so even in as much as you want to get a technical co-founder and then maybe compensate them with equity in exchange for the service they are going to deliver, right? Before you rush into equity conversations, first of all, understand that this person is ready to be with you for the long term, right? That needs to be clearly stated, right? Because equity conversations requires you understanding first evaluation, first having a clear cap table, right? How many percentage do you want to give your co-founders? How many percentage do you want to reserve for team members as employee stock option? So all these conversations need to be stated in your plan for the organization. So if you want to give out equity, depending on what you want to give, right? You have to be very clear of the equity distribution, because in as much as you are giving out equity, you need to consider future investments, right? So that when you want to get an investor, your cap table isn't scattered, it isn't disorganized, right? It's clearly thought out from day one. So before you have the equity conversations, be clear that this person is going to be with you in the long term, right? And then set expectations clear. So equity can be given in tranches. It could be vetted over time, depending on what you want, but be sure that you are giving equity to the right person. And don't hold on to all your equity just because you don't want to take chances.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, let me take this conversation a little to another direction. So now, but who is a product manager, really? Who is a product manager?
This question really can't. The product manager is one who is supposed to deliver a product. I mean, it's supposed to take that product to the market, make sure it sells, go through the whole development, make it sell. Okay, but the thing is that it seems like at different stages, there are different types of people that fit for product managers. The product manager that was probably the one who built the product may not be good for the product's growth. You may then look for someone who is more of a growth hacker, a product marketer to take charge. Maybe then at that point, you don't need so much technical product manager. Then usually the easy definition that they say is of a product manager, they say is the CEO of a product. You know, that's what they define a product manager as. But a product manager is like a midwife, and like the mother of a child. You know, you nurse a baby and you deliver the baby and you nurture and take care of that baby till that baby has grown old. You know, that is what I can describe a product manager as. So that's why when a product manager, apart from all the business and technical skills, a product manager should also have empathy too, because I find out that if it is a key skill, just like how a mother is or a midwife is. That is what a product manager should be like, you know. But the quick definition of a product manager is the CEO of a product. He makes decisions, of course, in line with the stakeholders, you know. But he builds the product with a team. Of course, he oversees the development, he oversees marketing and all these kinds of things. He's like a wife, a mother to a baby. That's what a product manager is. I really can't say how to define a product manager.
Okay. So you're in your maternal definition, a product manager is basically someone who's responsible for delivering and growing a product till it comes of age, which I'm guessing is when that product finally scales, becomes everything that it's supposed to be. So, Noelo, what do you think a product manager can help achieve as a business owner? So, what will a product manager help a business owner, maybe a founder? What will a product manager help a founder achieve in terms of his product or her product?
Okay. So probably a PM is responsible for UX, tech, and business. Because the end goal or the goal of any product is to ensure that your customers are satisfied, and then you're able to have recurring customers, right? So it's not that they use your product once and they don't come again. So because once you've built a product, the end product is not the end of the product. It's just the beginning. Because once you've built the product, you need to get users to use that product, and then you come back to iterate based on the feedback that you've gotten from your customers. So there was a time I mentioned that UX is very important, UX research, right? Users experience. So as they are building the product, what is the feedback that you are getting? How are you able to go back to your stakeholders, to the development team, to improve on the product, right? So that's the US aspect of it. And tech, right? How are you ensuring that you are using the right technologies for the business, right? How are you able to save cost and get more value? Also, in terms of business, how are you able to build a product that consumers love and they are willing to pay for it? So it's dependent if it's going to be a B2B business or a B2C, right? If it's a B2C, how are you going to acquire more users? And if it's a B2B, how are you going to get corporates to patronize you and then pay for the services that you have? So in as much as a PM is responsible for managing the product, a PM also should be responsible for the marketing, right? How can you scale exponentially? How can you get thousands of users to use your product? How can they pay for this service? At what point is it right to ask for maybe some payments or subscriptions, whatsoever? It must be aligned with the goals and the objectives of the business. So a PM, like Daba had mentioned, is more or less like a midwife, right? Ensuring that all stakeholders are happy. So who are the key stakeholders? The owners of the business, right? Being able to clearly understand the vision, the team members, the product development team, the frontline staffs who are going to put this product in the faces of people, and then the customers, who are the most important people, because any business you are building is for people to use eventually, right? So how are you going to ensure that they are happy and then they use your product over and over and again, and they don't mind paying to utilize your service?
All right. That's very cool. That's very cool. So I was going to Dab, I was going to ask another.
Yes.
Question. So you know, a lot of time around the product management role, and I define who a product, the person that manages our Scrum difference, to choose the right person for the right role. So what do you think are the significant differences between a product owner, Scrum Master, and a product manager?
Okay, so a Scrum Master basically is one who coaches the development, the Scrum team, on how to follow the agile methodologies, follow Scrum. So the Scrum rules or the framework, because Scrum is a framework to adhere by those framework. And the product owner is one who just probably manages the product backlogs. So all the features, he has to add all the features. Now, the organizations still have product managers apart from product owners, because the product owner does not handle, and as Noye said, product manager is the intersection, of user experience, business, and technical. But it seems like the product owner is restricted to a bit of technical and business roles. Product owners just basically concern themselves with the features that need to be added in a product. They call them the product backlog, all the features that need to be added, and the sprints and the features that and eventually when to make a product releasable, that's what they call it, or features to be releasable. That's what a product owner is concerned with. The product manager will go far more. He's going to think about the users, because usually the product owner only gets feedback from maybe the stakeholders, of which the product manager might be part of those stakeholders. So product manager will get feedback from users. He's going to try and market this product. He's going to measure the success metrics and do all of these kinds of things for the product, more than just what the product owner is going to do. Now, it does not mean that an organization cannot make one person as a product manager and product owner. They can have one person having those dual roles, but they are different. The Scrum Master, on the other hand, too, can also be a dual product owner and product and Scrum Master. It can also be a Scrum Master and product manager too. There's no rule against it, but the product manager role is different. It goes much more than that. It has to be the marketing, the business, the technical, and the getting the user feedback too.
All right. That's very cool. So moving a little away from the product to the understanding of some of the roles that people will need to play when it comes to use technology to enable your business. You're not just going to set up, people feel like, let's just bring some coders together and we'll deliver this product. So there are also some non-technical roles. There are people that are supposed to help you achieve this vision. So I'm also trying to help the viewers get acquainted with some of this key to achieving any product vision whatsoever, or any vision of enabling your business using technology. So, Noye, I would like to ask, of course, moving away from product management, I'd like to ask, so what do you think are the possible limitations to taking a business online? So what are the limitations that people will typically face? Could you give us any insights to that?
So will I say limitations or mistakes? Some of these things are inevitable, right? But we then have to take conscious effort to mitigate this risk, right? First of all, taking your business online is just more or less like a click of a button, because the internet has literally given everyone access to democratize their business. So when you look at fintech, edutech, health tech, agri-tech, there are people just leveraging technology to scale, right? So I've always been a propagator of build global, probably start local, right? So you want to leverage technology, yes. But first, you need to have customer empathy. Customer service is a very critical aspect of running a business. So as probably an executive, you might probably get overwhelmed with engaging with investors and getting partnerships. What of your frontline staffs? People handling your social media, right? What are they doing with it? Are they communicating properly? Are you literally innovating around your branding and positioning, right? All these aspects are very, very critical while taking your business online, right? Because in as much as the internet is opened for you to scale, sometimes the internet doesn't forgive. That's why as a business person, you have to be very intentional about what you post online as a company, and then even you as a founder, right? So you then have to train your frontline staffs and set brand guidelines and expectations so that whatsoever content that are putting online aligns with your brand's image, right? So you then consider customer empathy. Be sure that you are displaying and you are letting your customers know how your product is going to be of value to them, right? Another aspect is data. The reason why you're online is to literally leverage technology to scale. But if you want to scale more, you need to have at least basic understanding of data science, data analytics, or you get experts in data analytics that can literally leverage the data that you have to either cross-sell or understand where your customers are coming from, right? And very, very important is for you to have very clear business understanding, right? You necessarily don't have to go do an MBA, but if you want to go do it, that's fine. But there are books online that can help you understand how to grow a business. So these are some of the things you probably need to consider. So when you get online, you are operating on best practices. Even simple things like even getting an SSL for your website to ensure that users that come on your platform are not hacked because they probably trusted your system and put in their card for you to get subscriptions monthly. If, for instance, you are building a SaaS platform, right? So security is very important. You need to work on this aspect of the business so that you don't make your users vulnerable to maybe whatsoever happens on the internet.
All right. That's fine. That's fine. So maybe I'll ask one last question. Double. So when people are taking their businesses online, so there are situations where you don't have enough funding to build your own product. You don't have enough money. You cannot set up a team. You cannot outsource. You really can't even find a technical co-founder because I mean, the technical co-founder has to eat too, right? So what are some alternatives that you're going to suggest, to founders? So are there alternative platforms, are there alternative software or things that they can use, to bootstrap, depending when, they can?
Okay, so maybe from an e-commerce perspective, we already have Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My internet switched to another one. Okay, so businesses already can use Instagram, WhatsApp. There's quite a number of things that happens on WhatsApp and Instagram. I mean, without being too tech savvy. I know I was seeing some emails from Paystack. They now have a shopping platform where people can put their products there. And I also think that's technology is going to be big in a way where, okay, so you know about a platform like Product Hunt. So people are on Product Hunt. Some of them they've not launched. Some of them they are still building. Even there's another one, Indie Hackers. People are still trying to get their way around. People need people to know their product, and those platforms are there that help push out your product, Then there's for e-commerce, we have sites that can help you sell things like Shopify, things like Paystack, and Paystack has the new e-commerce platform. We have Instagram. Instagram, the number of transactions that goes on there is crazy these days. I also came across a platform lately, Seller.co, and people use Seller to market their products on Instagram and all these other platforms. So you really, having it, and when someone thinks about trying to push his product out there and he can't do it, I think that's another opportunity for any other founder to be able to build a platform that would act as a bridge for those people who may not be able to hire a team and get a technical co-founder. They just want to push their product out there, just want to sell out there, build a kind of marketplace for products, or do any of those kinds of things. So there are quite a number of platforms, mainly e-commerce platforms, that allow you to sell digital goods and physical goods. So you probably don't need a website and all these other things for that. Instagram being one of them, as I said.
All right. Thank you very much, Owen. I think it's almost 5 p.m., so I would like to draw the conversation, or to draw the curtains on the conversation for this evening. So it was very, very amazing having you guys here, to share all your wealth of experience with the founders and other members of the audience that have been listening for the past about 1 hour. So for the people out there in the audience, this has been Inspire January by Startup South, and we've been discussing about how to take your business online, building a tech-enabled business. And we've had Owen, Dabo, and Noelum Okole share a lot of experience. I hope it has been very, very, very valuable to you guys. So I'm going to thank you guys again, Dabo and Noelum. Thank you guys for coming around and giving us your time, which I understand is very, very valuable to you, of course. So I'd like to thank you guys very much. Thank you very much. So hopefully, I don't know, we'll probably get to have more of these conversations in the future. So thank you guys. I think I'll call it an evening here. I've been the one driving this conversation. My name is Osita Mawangu, and I am a product manager at Genesis Tech Hub. So thank you very much and good evening.
All right, so thank you, Osita. Thank you, Startup South. Thank you, Noye. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
All right.